All right, what's good, YouTube? We back in the building with another live stream. You know what I mean?
You ugly motherfucker.
I do got to figure out what to call these live streams when I'm not doing like pop the balloons and shit like that. But I'll figure out a term or a name or some type of category to put them in. But I wanted to talk about, like I said, I do these pop the balloon reviews and shit like that, and it's all good, fun and games. But for the most part, I'm trying to not completely break away from doing powder balloon. I'm just making the content that I want to make, and I'm moving. I have a direction for my channel, my mind, and how I want to go about things. And for the most part, I'm just doing that. So it may not make a lot of sense to certain people. It may never make sense to certain people how I can just do different type of streams and talk about different type of things. But trust me, in my mind, it all makes sense, and that's the only person that I gotta fucking try to convince to keep going and understand me. So that's literally the only thing that I can do is hold up, nigga. I ain't changed the thumbnail out. I ain't even changed the damn thumbnail out. Anyway, um now I gotta go to my YouTube studio. Is it gonna change instantly? Hold on, bro. I promise you, bro. Being a YouTuber is not something that a lot of people can do. Let me go to it. Let me go to the edit. Come on, bro. Okay, I changed the thumbnail. Is it gonna update now? What? Your account is at greater risk of attack because you don't have two-step verification on. Okay. Um, let me see something. Let me just open it back up. Hopefully it instantly changed because okay, it did it. My fault. Anyway, like I said, I'm doing more and more content about different things, and that's just what the hell I got going on. So um I am gonna play uh some videos. I don't know how long I'll be on, but I am gonna play. Hopefully, I can play a couple videos and kind of just dive into them and say what I want to say and get my thoughts out. But yeah. With that being said, we finna go ahead and jump this shit off. Let me go to the first video. What the fuck did I click? I clicked on the wrong shit. It was in the watch later.
Picture this scenario, because I guarantee.
Who was it? Um, I don't know which one I wanna do first. We'll do the luxury. Oh no, cause I was talking about scams. Where this person? Uh, damn, where is it? Life lessons from no fuck. I can't even find it. Which one? They damage. Okay. So here, I wanted to talk about this for a second.
They were sold a dream.
Come to class, don't miss it. Come get this good education.
I invested
65,000.
90K I invested with her.
But what they say this woman in Atlanta is really selling? A nightmare.
Now, this first video, shout out to my boy Bars, bro. So yeah, Bars, like I was saying, I'm doing like more and more content. I'm not just going to be heavily involved in like the RP space because there's but so much growth in it. You know what I mean? It is what it is, and plus there's going to be no significant changes done to it. The message ain't going to evolve, and people ain't really going to push. They're not going to. They have no answers for people, so you're just giving people information, and I'm fine with that because I give people information too. But at least the information that I'm giving is actually something that they can use and implement and change their lives right now. I don't believe in just waiting around for the for the shoe to drop, and that's kind of what I see a lot of people in the RP space kind of when they go so heavily on the RP side, you're just waiting around for the shoe to drop. Because it's basically like shit talking. I like shit talking, but if nothing comes of shit talking, then we're just wasting our time. So, shout out to my nigga Bars, he in the building.
You ugly motherfucker.
But, like I said, I wanted to talk about scams and more or less like just scams of all certain types. But I did want to highlight one story because this shit, I came across it, and there's another scam too that's kind of related to housing, but I wanted to show this shit.
Tricking other black women into getting business credit cards to fix and flip homes with her.
We've given them everything that we have in our savings.
They say once you get your money, things get funny. One of the homes catching fire, money unaccounted for. What's really going on behind black girls in real estate?
I did not do anything wrong.
I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. Now, one person reaching out to us is one thing, but when several women came forward claiming they were duped out of hundreds of thousands of dollars from someone in Atlanta, we started asking questions.
I don't think.
What was the promise?
So she would teach you how to get the funding. She
We
had
shall
a
pay,
team
yeah.
that could help us, the contractors, lenders.
You're right. I mean, yeah, but for this example of this story, and I'm not gonna let the whole thing play. I'm gonna get to like the point I really wanted to showcase. But so there's this woman in Atlanta, black girls in real estate, whatever the course is or whatever like that. Be aware of these scams, these calls, these groups online. I would never, um, just, and I can't say never because again, I'm not above board. I can easily be fallible as anybody else. I could easily fuck somebody over. I'm sure I've done that in my past. I can easily do something like that to somebody, but I know that I'm now not doing that no more. I'm going forward in like the direction I want to go, in a positive direction, and like shit like that. But in this scenario, this woman is getting people to take on loans, and then when things need to when zeros need to turn to ones, the money get funny and then she disappear. So it's a classic example. We had this over and over and over and over again with other people. Shout out Spencer Cornelia. He highlights these scammer ass people on the internet. And yeah, like I said, my channel is all about honesty, and these people, not the woman on the screen right now, but just people in general, they will scam you. So be aware of scamming ass people.
The credit people.
This is how they say Janine Searcy, CEO of Black Girls in Real Estate, lures people in on social media, private one-on-one coaching courses to
That right there, be wary of that. If somebody, that's the number one telltale sign of somebody on some BS. Private one-on-one something. Because I get it. You want to some type of way to monetize like your audience, and that makes perfect sense. Walmart does that with a product. If you want me to sell something, if you want me to do something for you, I need to get something in return. I completely agree with that. But when you go into these private one-on-ones, a lot of people in these groups and these Patreons and all this shit, they're giving out generic information for one. For two, you're not really getting what you really need to get. You're paying a really high fee to get in, and you're not really getting anything from it. And I get it. the content creator or the business owner or like this woman is going to say, well, if I do that, they're just going to copy it, or I mean, that's something you deal with in business in general. I don't even know the first breakfast, or I don't even know the first burger restaurant, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't McDonald's. Then McDonald's becomes big, and now everybody else want to sell burgers out of a little ass house on like in a shopping center, like out of a little house looking business from a shopping center, and they want to sell burgers. I get it. It's competition, but when people start doing these things like these private one-on-one groups, I'm always leery of it. Cause how do I know you're not even really actually addressing my problem or addressing my issues? This has came up in the what space is that? The workout space, the fitness space, where people saying, okay, let's say I was overweight and I went to this woman and say, hey, she has her online platform where she's going to give me meal plans and shit like that. Come to find out, I don't know the name of the group, but it had a few people go to one person and describe different meal plans that they wanted, things that they were allergic to, this, that, and the fourth. And the same content creator gave them all the same meal plan with different allergies. People had different allergies, the same meal plan. People had different body weights and different goals they want to hit. They still gave the same meal plan, and people had different timing about certain things. Like they were trying to like lose weight faster and quicker. She still gave them the same fitness plan, which means she's not really going in depth with what she's trying to sell you. She's just trying to the YouTuber was just trying to sell you something. And that's why I tell people all the time, like, make sure y'all know what y'all getting when y'all join these groups and these Patreons. And eventually I will have a Patreon. I'm not here to say that I'm anybody different, but I'm not going to scam people ever. I'm not ever going to say, here I'm going to do something just exclusive for you bars, and I'm not going to do it for nobody else. And then come to find out when I gave somebody else the same information I gave you, you're going to be hot. You're going to be upset. Because it's not personalized to you, so. Well, let's
Black
keep
women how to
going.
invest in real estate, flipping homes and turning them into a decent profit.
And this is the number one scam going on, because flipping homes, anybody can fucking do. It don't take a rocket scientist to know how to go about flipping homes. You have to buy the home, rehab the home, sell the home. Now, if you need help getting the money for the home, sure, but you can just go to your bank and they will give you all the information you need, this, that, and the fourth. But there's these people who want to sell you these plans and these courses and shit like that, and I call bullshit when I hear it. Because everybody knows how I do. Now, me personally, I would never sign up for something like this. Now, a networking group or something like that, absolutely. If I'm going to be in the same room or on the same Zoom call or on the same trip with a really big time YouTuber and a big time business investor or something like that, yes, I would pay for that. But I'm not going to pay to jump in their courses because all the information they're getting is from online. I mean, now we have ChatGPT. How anybody isn't using ChatGPT left and right, it's crazy to me. He said lazy 304. People can't read anymore. Yeah, man. It's sad, but it's like that, But it's so many people scamming. It's ridiculous. But again, like I said in my previous lives, the fact is that all of us want to keep this gravy train going in order to hit the big grand prize versus making sure that all of us get what we need out of it, but then none of us hit that grand prize. We all get something fair. We all get something equitable. We all get something that we all can live with, and we will make sure that everybody's taken care of. But no, that's the only reason why they can keep going on with life and shit like that, and keep putting us in these predicaments with these scammers, government. I got a video about the government too, so we gonna mount
Tara, a real estate
it's
agent
gonna go
based
about
in
the
New
government
Jersey,
too.
she said she was all in.
I felt like, this would be a place for me to start. Realtors always need a second hustle.
How much did you spend?
So for the class, it was 25,000.
25,000.
That right there, that is your number one telltale sign. I don't know. People are still doing this shit in 2025. How you charge anybody 25,000 for information when they can get the information online is beyond me. Now, I'm not ever gonna. I don't play a hate. Remember, I said I don't play a hate. I said it's the 11th commandment to me. Thou shalt not play a hate, thou shalt not sneak this, and thou shalt not dirty Mac. All of it's the same to me. So I'm not gonna play a hate. If somebody can sell salt to a slug and sell salt to a slug for 25,000, shout out to you. I'm just simply saying, in the world we live in today, how anybody would think that to pay 25,000 for something, that's an issue in and of itself. I mean, paying 25,000 to learn how to do something. College ain't even like nobody's even going to college no more. Like, college is such a scam that is so bad. Like, how you just gonna drop 25,000? 25,000, bruh. That is like, yeah, that's crazy, bruh. 25K. 25K in a course. Now, if you told me I'm gonna, a couple thousand and I'm gonna be at a networking event with other people, other rich people, business people, maybe Donald Trump's gonna be there, maybe some high flyer attorneys, some high flyer business investors, Mark Cuban's gonna be there, like some billionaires and millionaires gonna be there, and you wanted to give me like $1,000 ticket or something like that, okay, cool. Cause then I can get in that room with them, chop it up with them, take pictures with them, introduce myself, shake hands, get in contact information for their I can go from there. But if you just charge me 25,000 and thinking I'm gonna go do a course, you out your mind, bruh. And a part of me isn't even so much mad at the content creator. I'm just saying that to you and everybody who will ever watch my content, because I don't want you getting scammed. You know what I mean? Test tube baby stuff. Hey, bruh, it is what it is, bruh. Because in the same breath, if you can sell a course for 25,000 and people are stupid enough to do it, my hat goes off to you. I just don't like the fact that you're scamming people. If you can sell a little something, if you could sell something small for a lot, my hat goes off to you. But if you scamming people while you're doing that, that's when I have an issue. I don't got an issue with the hustle. If this woman's dumb enough to spend $25,000 on a course, when we literally got Coursera, Udemy, fucking Skillshare, and you can learn ChatGPT, you can learn how to do any of this shit for less than $50. But if she wanted the $25,000 route, let her have it. I just don't like people scamming people. You know what I mean? And I'm not perfect because I'm pretty sure I've done worse than that in my past. But, I just don't like people scamming people. That's the big thing. But $25,000, man.
Dollars for 8 virtual sessions.
$25,000 for 8 virtual sessions. So let's just do the math real quick. 25,000 divided by 8 is, or 24 divided by 8 is 3. So you paid $3,000 a virtual session to learn how to buy, rehab, and flip homes. Yo, Scotty, what up, bruh? My boy Scotty in the building.
You ugly motherfucker.
Thou shalt not scam or lose your hand. Yeah, I mean, but that's why I said, like, if somebody's stupid enough to pay 25,000 for 8 virtual sessions, again, I'm not mad at the scammer for that. I'm mad that you're scamming. If you making money scamming, nigga, make money. Because you can make money easily out here. People are literally dumb enough to do it. But I just don't like people scamming people, and promising something and not delivering on something. You know what I mean? Or purposefully not delivering on something. It's not like, oh, you gave me my money, you gave me your money, and I said I would try to get you something, because that's different. But if you gave me your money and I guaranteed you something and didn't happen and didn't communicate that with you, then that's the scam. You know what I mean? That then it turns into a scam. I don't like that.
$5,000.
I know it was. Now that I think about it, I'm like, I could have went to school for $25,000.
She went through with it anyway, and
She was gonna be cooked anyway. She was gonna go to school with it. Money ain't worth your soul. Again, yeah, I mean you're right, but that's why I say values and metrics. I mean, if somebody values it that bad and they're willing to scam people for it, I mean, I can't judge nobody for getting over on somebody. I only judge people on lying or like faking, you know what I mean? Deceiving somebody. That's the only thing I have a moral issue with. Claiming you're going to do one thing one way and you're not. And that's why I make no claim. That's why I say I'm not above board. I'm not above the scammer. I don't scam nobody, but I'm not above the scammer. I don't look down on the scammer for that, because something could happen to me or I do something fucked up. But I'm honest about it. Like, I'm honest saying that I'm never going to be the person saying I would never, I could never do something like this, that, and the fourth. Like, bruh, I don't know who the fuck I'll be. I don't know how mad I'll get. I don't know if I'll be that fucked up financially. You know what I mean? I just don't like the fact that people are scamming people. Now, if you can sell somebody something that could have easily been bought for 100 times less, but they bought it for 100 times more, shout out to you, bruh. I'm not here to knock the hustle. I will never knock the hustle. Hell, hustling is how you get ahead in life. You know what I mean? It's like selling weed, bruh. If you bought weed from me and I told you, yeah, this that good shit, whether it costs a little bit or a lot of it, doesn't matter. If you buy it, you buy it. But if I say this that good shit and it's doo-doo, it's trash, that's the part you should have an issue with. That's the part me on the outside I would have an issue with, but let's keep going.
that's when she says the red flag started immediately.
The first class she canceled and had to reschedule. So it was more of, hey girl, I can't make it today. I gotta go get my hair done type of situation. And that should have been a red flag for me immediately.
No, the price tag should have been a red flag for you. 25,000 should have been a red flag for you. I can go on ChatGPT right now. I got a paid plan, so ChatGPT will ask for the numbers, and then you can put all the numbers, and they will come up with the plan and tell you, okay, all the specifics. They will, ChatGPT will handle all that if you just want to go about it that way. But even if you didn't have ChatGPT and this was 10 years ago, okay, well, you can go to your bank. Go to a mentor, but don't fucking these online gurus and shit like that. That's the issue I have. I don't like that shit at all.
But, I was just like, let me just get the information and
then Shorty canceled the very first meeting. She canceled saying she had to get her hair done. Terrible. Black people shit.
keep going.
She says a big part of the class was about funding. Circe guiding you to build your own LLC and get the loan process going.
She connects us with this group called Fund and Grow, and they get us business credit. So they apply. You don't even see the applications. You just see the cards coming in.
Right there. So now you have no way of knowing how much you got approved for. This is so bad, bruh. This is so bad. Now you spend $25,000 to get connected with her. Then she says, okay, fill out this paperwork. I have a Fund and Grow, whatever this shit is. I'm going to take your application, your name, all your information, run a credit thing to try to get as much money. So you don't even know what you get. I'm assuming you wouldn't know unless something came back to your house. But let's say you did the loan process for 50,000, but the bank gave you 75K. So do you know that you took out a loan for 75K? Or are you know what I mean? Like, how does that work? This was bad. This was cooked from the very beginning, bruh. But again, she just got caught up in it.
So we ended up getting, between me and my husband, $120,000 in business credit.
Excited to get started flipping
$120,000 in business credit. And again, I'm not mad at it because you and your husband could have just did this shit by yourself. You know what I mean? Y'all could have just got this 120 and went off your own way. With the knowledge of some shit you got off YouTube, or you could have took a little course online for $20, $50, something like that. But you paid to join this YouTuber shit. And now she making you take out business credit loans, you and your silly ass husband. And now y'all got
homes in New Jersey. She was told there were no profitable homes to flip in her area.
She comes to me, she says, listen, I know you can't find a project. I have a personal deal that's going on. Do you want to join? I don't really do this. But you know, I know that you really want to do this.
It was a 1.2 million.
So now I'm confused about that part. So she's saying, I know you can't find a home that you want to flip, but I got this home I'm working on. I guess, I don't know.
$1 million build here on Claremont Terrace in Atlanta.
You're in New Jersey. Did you want to invest in properties in Atlanta, or that was just what was offered to you?
That was what was offered. Of course, I would love to invest more where I was, but what I've sent her, she just was like, that's not worth it. The profits is too close. It's too tight. It's not worth it.
She agrees to go in on the project, $90,000. Circe and her business partner, Tyler Williams, they put up $1.1 million through their own individual LLCs.
I wire transferred from all those credit cards to multiple different accounts. That should have been another red flag.
You ugly motherfucker.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Hey bars, bro. I promise you, you the funniest. You the funniest commenter, bro. He said both of them slow. Okay, first off, here's the thing. Okay, so I'm just trying to track the story. You join this group for 25K. That's already an L in and of itself. She says, give me the house that you want to flip, and then I'm going to work with you. So she shows her house is in New Jersey because she lives in New Jersey. The woman said, them houses look stupid. They ain't about to sell. We ain't going to make no money. Then the YouTubers, the influencer, the whatever, says, I have a home in Atlanta that's 1 point something. She's building it, or it was already being built. I don't know at what price or how soon this happened, or if they paid to have the home being built, or if the home was already being. I don't understand that. Then this woman wires 90,000 of her 120 to Circe, the woman, and so you wire her $90,000, but you wired it to different accounts. That was a big red flag right there. So she was, yeah, people just lazy, bro. You're right. She was cooked from that point. So you wire the money to multiple accounts. But I'm still confused because it said the woman, the influencer, put up 1.2. So was the home worth more than 1.2? Because the dude said the home was worth 1.2. But anyway.
She says that two other women whom she never met, they were also stakeholders on the project.
And went down.
Okay, so stakeholders, right? Stakeholders are people who have investment into the business thing. Only because I'm taking project management courses and I'm getting ready to sit for my CAPM and hopefully break into project management. I know what stakeholders are. So Stakeholders can be like it could be a board of stakeholders. They can be department heads, whatever. So this woman and two other women that she never met are all stakeholders in this project. To what, how much they're stakeholders in it, I don't know, because anybody can be a stakeholder. You know what I mean? My child is technically a stakeholder in my YouTube. So she has a vested interest that it becomes bigger. So anybody can be a stakeholder, technically. Now, did these other women put money in? That's what I want to know. But we'll figure that out.
And I went to go visit the site without her. It was nothing done. It looked like it wasn't even touched.
Okay, so she went to visit the site without her. So it seems like at that point she started to have doubts, because why wouldn't you go see the home with your content creator? Why wouldn't you pull up on your content creator?
That was in March 2024. In their contract, the property was to be renovated and sold within about 6 months. They guaranteed Tara a 200% return too.
Okay, that right there is that's the biggest red flag so far. That is the biggest red flag so far. This is how Tai Lopez got cooked. You never, ever, ever, ever say how much percent you can guarantee back. Because you're not in control of you can't guarantee. You can't even guarantee you're going to be here tomorrow on Earth. So how is anybody going to guarantee you 200% of anything you fucking gave them? Is beyond me. So you gave her $90,000. So 100% of $90,000 would have been another $90,000. So that would have been $180,000. So you said 200%. They were going to give you $270,000 back after 6 months of this home being built. But when you went down there, the home wasn't even finished. Okay. I guess I'm tracking so far.
$90,000 original investment plus a $90,000 profit when it was sold.
She was like, oh, we had some issues with structural. We signed in March. This was June. So we were like, you didn't even tell us.
Okay, March, April, May. So they signed. You signed for I don't know at what point, because technically the content creator could have had the home being built, and then these people came along and bought into the project being built or the home being built, or they could have just all came together at the start of it, and then it's supposed to be done in a few months. I don't know how long it takes to I thought a home at least take 5 to 6 months, but let's say it seemed like it was going to be done, but then the woman said that around June there was issues, but she didn't communicate that to you.
Like what the situation? She's like, it's not a big deal, but it's an additional $20,000 or something that they had to pay.
She paid for the back door, about $7,000, but that's all she could do.
We're out of money. We are totally out of money.
By this point, over a year goes by. It's May 2025.
Unbelievable. 1 year in the home. I don't see no wires. I don't see plumbing at all. So this home is just...
We are totally out of money.
By this point...
So this is just structural. So it was, as the land was excavated, they put the concrete in, so they have the flooring. Not flooring, but they have like the structure of the home. But I don't see any piping, really. No insulation. You just have like the walls and shit up. I mean, I don't see no electrical. I don't see no PVC piping.
Over a year goes by. It's May 2025.
1 year for a home. Dude, a home takes 6 months to build. 8 months. If you got like specific, or you got like hella up and down weather issues. But a home could be built fairly cheap. I mean, not fairly cheap, fairly fast.
She wanted out of the deal altogether, but she says Circe refused and has yet to pay her back. And remember, She did take out a business credit line for this.
Hey roommates, before we go any further, do us a big one. If you love some TSR Investigates, make sure
Man,
you're
this
so...
dude.
You're still paying these monthly payments?
I'm close.
Okay, let's get back to it.
How much is your monthly payment? You're still paying these monthly payments?
I'm close to about $6,000 a month. It's more than my house bills.
So the business line of credit she took out, now she's paying $6,000 a month toward. You're paying $6,000 a month until you can get your lick back.
Giving them everything that we have in our savings.
And she is not alone. It happened to Makisha McClinton in Georgia.
We won't get our money back.
And Charlotte Wolcott in Tennessee.
She's really good with kind of talking a good game once she gets the investment or the money.
This was to be $1 million homes we're talking about.
It was set to sell for $1 million and something.
Wolcott wiring $65,000 to go in on this $870,000 flip property in Atlanta's prominent Buckhead neighborhood.
Terrible. Why would anybody even seriously invest in a property that they didn't lay eyes on or they didn't physically like walk the grounds or something like that is beyond me. You know, I mean, if you are going to go in with somebody who, for something that you've never seen, you have to go in with somebody who you trust. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't never just, I don't know. Like if I went someplace and the food it looked like it was trash, or it looked like it smelled bad, and like I just thought it wasn't gonna be bad, but then I see somebody I know them, and it's like, yeah, bro, I know it looked like shit, but it's good. Just taste it. You ain't gonna get sick. Like then I would, take a bite or something like that. But you can't just go in on a multi-million-dollar deal, financial. It ain't like it's $1,000, $2,000. We talking $50,000, $60,000. You need to know the people you're giving $50,000, $60,000 to. You need to really know these people. Like, know them. Yeah, you can't get something for nothing. Can't give something for nothing. I mean, I ain't mad at, like again, if you want to make that investment, fine. That's what investment is anyway. It's a risk. But you also have to use your brain. You can't go make it an uncalculated risk. Paying $25,000 to a YouTuber of any type for a course, a whatever, for information is beyond stupid. That's the dumbest thing you can do. That's for one. For two, going in with somebody and not putting eyes on like I'm pretty sure they didn't have lawyers look over this shit. Because if you go and sign contracts and negotiation with people and things like that, you need to have lawyers look over this.
Contract, if it sells, then my return on that investment would have been a return of $100,000.
But the dream, it was short-lived.
So her investment would have been $100,000, so $60,000. If she would have got back $60,000, I don't feel like doing the math, but the future value. I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I'm not good with numbers like that unless I use a damn calculator. So she would have got back 100% of her money. But she wouldn't have got back shit else. Well, $40,000, whatever that is. So 100, I don't know. What's that, 124% or some shit like that? No, 40% of that, that's like 60. It's about 160, if my math is right.
This is the house. Look at this.
October 2024, months into the flip, it burned down.
It's I don't want to go all the way up in this thing because I definitely don't want to fall in.
Now the home burned down.
I mean, you could see it is completely like, I mean, I cannot believe this.
And see,
The house did burn down. Was it a mysterious fire? Did you feel like there was something going on with it?
She says on her own Facebook, her live on Facebook on that day, it burned for 6 hours and nobody saw it. But you can see in the video that she's doing, there's a house right next door.
We did get a hold of the fire incident report. Fire investigators, they were called to the scene, but the cause, it was listed as undetermined. McClinton, she was a stakeholder on the project too, and says it wasn't adding up.
And they sold a property.
is that a home next door?
In May, and they didn't even tell us they sold the land for $800,000, and
They sold the property in May.
they got a check. So we asked for documentation. Didn't even
Hold on.
tell us, and they sold a,
She was a stakeholder on the project too, and says it wasn't adding up.
and they sold a property in May, and they didn't even tell us they sold the land for $800,000, and they had got a check.
They sold the land for 800,000. That's confusing because now it's like, okay, so when you buy a home, you buy the physical thing. You don't buy the land. You can buy, like, you could get access to the land. You can get access to the home. Like, that's your property. Like, you're paying the land is part of like the whatever the fucking bank or whatever wherever you're buying it from. Like, when you pay for a home, you pay for the home. The land was a separate thing. That's why if you want to build your own home, you need to go pay for the land from somebody, or however you need to acquire the land, whether it belongs to somebody else and you get rights to the land, or however it works, or however you know, whoever you're getting it from, then you pay to get the home built on top of the land. So if they sold the land for 800,000, the home was just sitting on top of it. So she got back 800,000. The influencer got back 800K. So
We asked for documentation. They said they didn't get all the check from the insurance. I said, well, can you?
They didn't get a check from the insurance. Okay.
You send me over the document as to why they didn't send over the full amount for the burn down. We never received it. We never received the document for the purchase of the home or the sale or the insurance check.
Instead, she says they took their investment money and funneled it into another flip project miles away.
What the fuck? So then the woman just funnels, lease or buy the land. Yeah, you know. But that's how it works when you wanna get a home. Like you paying for the physical thing. You're not paying for the land it's on. You know, the land it's on, you gotta figure out how to deal with that. Now you can funnel all that into, you know, your mortgage and all that shit, but that's how it works. But man, so now the money, she said the woman funneled it into another property
Project they knew nothing about.
If we're willing to take the loss, let us take it. They would not tell us the loss. They would not give us any of the money back, even from the nothing. They just kept it and kept on going and start basically ignoring us and stopped responding.
Ashley Wilson from South Carolina says they stopped responding to her too when she pumped the brakes on her $61,000 investment in Chicago back in 2023.
Once we got into the project.
Now this woman, unless she's either like just scamming, or she's trying to play the game honest, but she's like siphoning money off the top. Cause how are you trying to flip homes in multiple states? And there's no law against it, because evidently there's companies that do it, but you gotta be sharp enough to like find these deals really know how to deal with these deals and like physically acquire the homes. And she's doing them in different locations. So she's in Atlanta, but this woman just did one in Chicago. So
Second closed on it. Mysteriously, we didn't have a contractor. Janine did not help with trying to find someone.
When they did find a general contractor, the construction costs were $60,000 more than expected.
It came to a point where they asked for additional funds from me. The first time I did provide some additional funds, which is almost $4,000. It was paid directly to the GC to keep the project moving. But then the second time when they came, I'm exhausted all my funds. I'm not adding any more. We need to reevaluate.
She says Circe was not happy.
Contract clearly says all I had to provide was the $61,000. I fulfilled my side of it. So she hires an attorney to try to mediate between us to figure out how we could get to a settlement.
The fix, they wanted to bring 2 more people on the project to help with funding.
The other piece of that settlement would include an NDA.
you right there again, right there, an NDA. So now I don't even want you talking about it. Another telltale sign of bad business. It's not completely shady. NDA is not completely shady. You know, NDAs do have a purpose because if me and Bars are trying to do something, we need to guarantee that either one of us ain't going to talk until this, whatever we got going is done, or it's already announced, or it's already it started moving units. We can't have either one of us just talking about whatever we trying to do and then either a competitor pick it up, something happens, like we can't have that. So man, that's tough.
And then she's saying that I couldn't sue her for the coaching fees, which was $25,000.
These people
So
got
I declined.
money, no
Fast
brains.
For it, they $1,000, saying that I couldn't sue her for the coaching fees, which was $25,000. So I declined.
Coaching fees. Is that like just the 8 sessions of to just join the group?
Fast forward, they moved forward with doing the renovation. It closed on October 24th of this year.
$150,000 below what it was projected to sell for. Wilson says she's still waiting to get her initial investment back. She says terms of their contract were simply not met.
A lot of times people hear the financial losses, but they don't get to see the emotional and mental trauma. PTSD is greater than me, and I want to be able to really truly be that advocate for people who may not be able to speak up or feel like they can't speak up because of it.
Now, a Facebook page was created where dozens of women came forward sharing similar stories, many of them banding together and getting an attorney to take legal action against Circe and her affiliates. Now, we did reach out to Circe and her representatives. They told us they would provide a statement, but we did not receive it before publication. Here's what Circe said, though, in a since deleted Facebook Live video addressing some of their concerns.
There's got to be somebody to blame. I feel like I'm being blamed right now. Their money is being held in an investment. They don't want it to be held in investment. They want their money back today. So now it's like a shakedown, right? Like
It's not a shakedown if you were contracted legally. If you take money from somebody, this is the same issue that Tai Lopez ran into with the quote unquote, and I quote, Ponzi scheme. If you take money from me, it's no different than advertising. If I go to a burger spot and I say whatever, like give me the mac and cheese burger, I give you my money. You type it up, you give me a receipt, which is just a mini contract. It says your name, the date and time, the location of the store, what I paid with, whether it was cash or card, and it says what the fuck you supposed to give me. if we go into a contract, ma'am, and it says you are going to give me my 200%, like these bogus numbers you just claiming, and you're saying on certain dates, you're trying to go for these hard guarantees. Like, you're not Steph Curry. Not everybody can shoot from half court like free throws. You tried to shoot like Steph Curry, and you're missing. You're outright missing, and that's fine. We all fuck up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I do not look down on niggers, kikes, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, she a lot, bruh. Now you agreed to something. Okay, follow through with your agreement. You said that you was giving up the money on this type, unless the contracts you're creating are not that thorough. I couldn't imagine they wouldn't be if you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars from multiple people. I mean, these contracts, they have lawyers look over this shit. So much so that an NDA ain't even in the normal contract. You go sign some contract shit to go work at Planet Fitness. You sign their contract, they ain't got no damn NDAs. Cause you ain't in there getting top secret bull. You know what I mean? You ain't in there exposing shit. Like, you got NDAs in your contract. So you care enough about your image, then you need to really follow through on what you're fucking saying you're gonna do. Where's their money? They want their money. And then you're asking them for more money and more money. That's stupid.
We're going to blast you. We're going to, put you out. I have a lawyer as well. I have all my paperwork. I did not do anything wrong. The project is in construction right now, and that's just what it is. So I will do my best to continue to push this project forward, again, with integrity. I could absolutely, be a better communicator in certain things, but I cannot control the market. I cannot control a house burning down. God, I wish that house hadn't burned down, because we would have been finished by now and it would have been absolutely gorgeous. This is my real life. This is what I do. So while you're screaming and yelling, I'm over here working the business, finding the solutions, to push projects faster, doing the things that we need to do to make it happen. And that's just what it is.
Now, I was told she and her attorneys are taking legal action, and they do plan to file defamation lawsuits against those women making these claims against her. If or when that happens, it's still unclear. For TSR Investigates, I'm Justin Carter.
Now that was the first one I wanted to show you. Like, bruh, these people, I say that to say this. Please don't get caught up in these scams. I get it. It's a hot thing to do, is to join somebody's networking group, networking team. It goes back to that old saying. They say those that can't do teach. And there's some truth to that. So those that really can't be the ones that they want to be, they're going into doing all the teaching. They're doing all the extra courses. Now, in the terms of YouTube or in terms of making money off social media, yes, you're going to kind of need to have a course or something like that. But again, there's two sides to pretty much everything. You got good and bad, left, right, up, down, black, white. Like, so you either have a product or a service. I say that to say you have a product or a service. Most people are going to try to sell products, whatever products they're making, even if it's an intellectual product, a digital product, a physical product, or a service, a physical service, a digital service, whatever, And this woman's trying to be in that gray area of both, because you're taking money from people. That's the service, funneling them through this fund, grow, whatever, that your finance division, and then you're trying to get them their money back off of a physical product like a home being built. It's noble. I mean, if you're doing it honestly, I don't know, but I mean, stealing bro, just stealing money, bro. But that was the first one. I like I said, I say all that to say this, bro. Please do not get caught up in
Picture this
scam
scenario.
shit. Please do not get caught up in this scam. Please. I beg of you. Now the next thing, where is it at? I've talked about this too, so maybe we'll get into the luxury side. Hold on.
Private?
So I've always said this, right? I've always said the problem with the world is one of two issues. It's either there's no line drawn or the line that is drawn gets to move. And so when the line that is drawn in the sand gets to move, you just keep having these problems that never really find a way to go away. And they can go away, but if you do the thing that makes the problem go away, you don't get the thing that you deeply fucking desire in your heart. And that's why I come down so hard on people who think that they're owed something in life. Not because you're not owed anything. It's because one, you're not owed anything, but two, it's not even going to fucking happen. You were never going to get what you want to get. You know, there's no fairness or freedom. You know, that life is not an equal opportunity giver. I mean, look at me, I'm half blind. It's motherfuckers around here with 20/20 vision. That's not fair to me that I gotta be without 20/20 vision. Just that alone, that's not fair to me. But by that same metric, there's a kid who ain't ate for 2 days in Africa. He didn't ask to be born in Africa, but he's just there in Africa. Is it fair it's not fair to him that, you know, he ain't eaten 2 days? That's not fair to him. Like, life is not fair. And so the biggest thing for me is I think people think that like the luxuries of all these grand things in life, like you're going to get. No, sir, you're not going to get these things. Now, these things can happen for you. You can push for these things, but you're not guaranteed these things. And people are literally going to spend their last dollar to acquire something that they were never truly going to get, and it's just going to tear them down. But we're going to get into this video, man.
Fly private? Yeah. Shh. I ain't flying private. Spirit. Put me on Spirit. Exit row. Window seat. That's all I need. Long as I get from point A to point B. I don't need private.
When I bought my first luxury car with my dumb ass, I went and bought a BMW and I already had a Honda. Paid off Honda. Paid for Honda.
Light bulb head ass.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? I'm just fucking with you, boo. You look good with your unevenly shaped head.
How you make $40,000 a year, but you drive a Hellcat?
I don't know who need to hear this, but buy that used car off Facebook Marketplace. Buy that used car off Facebook Marketplace, man.
And I'm talking about the white one. Like, what's the lowest you would take for this?
The lowest I can do is probably $75K.
75. Okay, that's not bad.
When I saw this clip of Ocho Cinco talking to Shannon Sharpe and how, you know he made good money. He played football for a few seasons, or for a while, I should say. He made good money.
Shout out to this content creator. Her name is Bold Beginnings, I think.
But when he said that, hey, I'm not taking a private jet, I'm not flying, first class, or I'm going to take a Spirit flight. What?
Fly private? Yeah. Shh. I ain't flying private. Spirit. Put me on Spirit. Exit row. Window seat. That's all I need. Long as I get from point A to point B. I don't need private. Why am I driving a Ferrari? Why am I driving a Rolls Royce and I'm Ocho? Oh, we talk about jewelry and watches and chains. Never bought real anything when I was playing. Never. What was the point? I went to Claire's.
So all you do?
Yes. For what? What am I doing it for? Why am I buying a $50,000 watch? $80,000 watch? What time is it real quick, please?
It's 20 minutes to 4.
How much that cost me?
It didn't cost you nothing.
Because time is free. So what I'm paying for?
Right.
For what?
Now, this came out a while ago. This video is just a collage of some content creators do like mashups of short videos and give their commentary. It's cool. But for me, I've seen this clip before, but Ocho Cinco is talking about he don't spend a lot of his time on buying things that didn't really serve him. Now, Ocho Cinco did grow up in the hood. He's from the Miami, if I'm not mistaken. He's from Miami, that Miami area. He's definitely a South Florida dude. But, I mean, there's nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with wanting like luxuries in life. But if you're gonna spend your last to get it, it's gonna eat you. It's gonna eat you alive.
But everybody's caught up in image and looking a certain way and being rich. It's pointless. You know how hard it is to live like that all the time, consistently, and be fly every day. Jewelry and listen, eras of rappers. Think about the era before us.
Right.
Everybody was flashy, stunned. And after 10 years, what happens?
They ain't flashy, they ain't stunned.
No, you can't. It's impossible to sustain.
Right.
It's impossible. People, social media. People, they think the cure and the fix for the problem is, well, give me more money, I'm gonna be all right. Well, the more you make, the more you spend.
Right.
If you have no discipline and no structure.
Yes, absolutely.
Every time.
Yes.
Every time. Well, just give me more and more. No, the more you get, the more you're gonna spend. And people ain't gonna listen because we are caught up in looking a certain way, living a certain way, trying to appease others who don't really care nothing about you. Just to say, oh, I got it.
And that's the reason, and that shout out to him right there. And that's the reason why I come down so hard on like more the Christian community, and I also don't want to be this heavy RP guy because I see the faults in both of them. Both of them in their heart of hearts want the right thing for everybody. But I'm just on the outside saying, okay, Noble, I want the right thing for everybody too. But I can't control the right thing. I can't make sure that people do the right thing. So I tell y'all, like I tell y'all all the time, do what's in your best interest all the time. That way you will make sure that you're taken care of. When other people see that nobody else is operating in their best interest, they will realize, man, I'm going to do what's in my best interest. And then when everybody comes to that realization, whether it's sooner than later, hopefully it's sooner, then the world will turn around. Then the world will be a better place. Then we won't have all this excess spending on dumb shit that isn't helping nobody. You know what I mean? And it's not that, like I said, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't want these luxuries of life because I want these same luxuries. I want to travel. I want to go to Aruba. You know what I mean? I want to go see the Northern Lights in Norway. I want to go to Santorini, Greece. I want to go to Italy. Come on, bro. Saint-Tropez, but I can go. There's millions of places I want to go. I want to go to Iceland. Come on, bruh. You think I don't want to go to Amsterdam and smoke weed at one of them bars and get a drink while seeing a go-go dancer or something like that? Come on, bruh. There's tons of things I want to do in life. And those things are cool, you know, in my opinion. I would love to do those, but people gotta say everyone has different ways of doing things, yeah. But they're slowly going into debt. Like, not even so much into debt because everybody's broke. So everybody's technically in debt, but they're slowly dying. Like they're literally putting themselves almost like making themselves homeless for it. And I was, again,
I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
I was equally worthless too. I did the same exact bullshit. I'm not going to sit up here in front. I'm not going to lie. I can't tell you how many J's I had when I didn't even have a spot. Like, I was staying over my cousin's house. 20, 25 pairs of J's. Somewhere close to the 15 to 25 pairs of J's. Going to the club, paying girls little drinks and shit like that, you know, smashing, you know, you get some here and there. Always in the mall trying to talk to girls and waste fucking time. And this is before I met my lady anyway, but all that time I fucking wasted. All of that time I fucking wasted. All of it. not doing what was in my best interest. Just partying, doing dumb shit. I've done the same exact shit. I wasted all that time thinking I was gonna do something. My biggest thing was like following through. Cause I could follow through, like if I had to do something for 6 months, I could do it for a good month and a half easy. Light work. 100% of the day I can do it. But then after those 6 weeks, it falls off to about 25%. I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna do whatever it was every 4 days for another half a month, and then after that, I'm done. I'm just not doing it no more. So I had a problem with following through with shit, but I think it was my ADHD that I had to figure out a way to get around it. But yeah, man, just don't be one of these people who just find yourself all fucked up in the luxuries of life. Like figure out a way, figure out what works for you, but just don't go broke doing it. That's ultimately what I want to
Save
convey.
what? 83% of my salary. I don't need validation from nobody on the outside. That's another downfall. In society, we always need validation and acceptance from others. Don't try to live a lifestyle that you know you can't afford.
Right.
You can't do that.
You wouldn't expect that. You would expect that, okay, he's making money, he's going to spend that money. But no, he made wiser choices in order to keep that money in his pockets and to feed his family. Now, you know he has a big family. So he made some good money choices as far as, at least that's what he's telling us, saving his money.
Now, everybody knows that Ocho Cinco made good money choices. His first year or 2 years in the NFL, he stayed at the Cincinnati Bengals facility. So he stayed there for free. The first year I know he did that. He said he stayed there for free. He always said he had fake jewelry, even when toward his last years of playing, he said, yeah, he don't rock around with real jewelry. Now, I'm pretty sure he has real jewelry, but he was one of them different athletes because he said, like, once you're a star athlete, you literally don't even have time. I don't like how anybody's in the NBA or NFL and has time to just fuck off doing whatever is beyond me. But then you're a star. You got all these endorsement deals and commercials and things you gotta do like that. Like you know, you're going to practice, you're training, you're doing all these extracurriculars outside of football. Then you have endorsement deals. You got to meet with he said he was meeting with his lawyer like once every 3 days. Like his lawyer would come over the house or something like that. There's always paperwork to sign and things like that. Just you don't even have time to really live that life. So, having all these fake jewelry and all that is kind of the way to go. Plus, there's the security reason, somebody break into your home. Now, that's been happening a lot. We just seen that happen with Jaylen Brown. Somebody broke into his people home while his people were there. Other NBA players have got hit by that too, NFL players. And that's real dangerous for people to do. But again, these people, these stars, these athletes, they're looked at as not so much easy licks. They're looked at as they got it. So if y'all got it, somebody's going to be starving and hungry for it. It is what it is. Hopefully that don't never happen to nobody that I know, but that's what comes with it.
How you make $40,000 a year, but you drive a Hellcat? How you out every weekend buying drinks, but your credit card's maxed out? How can you afford to go on vacation when you ain't paid your car note in 2 months? Baby, your car about to go on a permanent vacation to the repo lot. We can't be having a lobster appetite on a ramen noodle budget. It ain't gonna work. I got the newest and freshest outfit down to the socks, and I ain't got no money in my checking account. What sense does that make? And I know because I've done it before, trying to live above your means and impress people, and it just ain't it. I'd rather have people care about the content of my character first. It just ain't worth it to be fronting all the time and pretending.
Exactly, bro. I say that shit every day on this channel. I'm not about to sit here and fake in front. Not about to sit here and do it, bro. Maybe another content creator will, but I know I won't. That's why I don't try to sound over smart. I literally don't. I'm not one of these people who try to use all these big fancy ass words. I just say what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and I try to explain it to the best of my ability. Outside of that, and remember, I always say, at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm not
sitting here
the
saying
arbiter
I
of
know.
truth.
I don't know, but I know you don't know either, bitch ass nigga.
I'm not saying what comes out of my mouth is correct. I know that what comes out of my mouth can be outright wrong. That's cool if it is. I'm just telling you that what came out of my mouth is honest. And I ain't lying and I ain't faking like I did something or got something. You know, it ain't me.
The truth gonna come to the light eventually. Do not spend all your money trying to impress people. They don't care that much anyways. The only person you should be trying to impress is yourself every day.
Period. That's all you should be trying to do. Don't worry about friends, family. They don't if they want to stay in that position or, you know, fuck over their time or their life or just go down whatever route they want to go down because they believe it's working for them, fine. You know what I mean? It is what it is. We all don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. They could be balling and look at me like, oh, you know, you this, that, and the fourth. How quickly life changed. Y'all remember Chadwick Boseman? Black Panther? On top of the fucking world. He's the only person, I think they say he's the only person with 3 or 4 different movies that he done biopics for. Where he played an actual star person. I know he did the Jackie Robinson. He did the what's the singer? He did James Brown. He also didn't he do Thurgood Marshall? He did Thurgood Marshall. And he did Wakanda. On top of the fucking world. Boom. Life cut down short. Colon or pancreas, whatever cancer he died from. And rest in peace to him. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. But on top of the fucking world. Look at Diddy. Albeit, you know, Diddy is, you know, perverted, but look at him. On top of the fucking world. Billionaire. Having his way. Doing what the fuck he wanted to do with whoever he wanted to do it with. And it all came crashing down. Almost overnight. So this ain't again, remember what I say, it ain't black or white, it ain't a good person versus bad person. It's just a people thing. The same way Chadwick Boseman played Black Panther and was on top of the fucking world, his life got cut down short. Diddy is still alive, you know. We don't want to wish death on nobody. Diddy is still alive, and he had everything going for him. He had the life, you know, he had whatever perverted stuff he was doing, and he was cool with it. He had effing over people any which way he wanted to do, and boom, it all came down short. It all fell apart. You don't know what's going to happen the next moment. You have no idea. So that's why I say do what's in your best interest. Go after whatever goals you're trying to get out in your head and just learn to live with that. Because you don't know. And don't look at somebody who's above you as, man, I really want what they got. Because you don't know what they fighting. You look up to Chadwick Boseman wanting to be him. He got 6 months to live. You want to be Diddy so bad because you see him, billionaire, everything he touched goes gold or platinum. Now look at him. You never really know with people. That's what I'm trying to say.
But just remember, this weekend, drinks are not on you. Get somebody else to do it.
Save your money. You got to do what's best for you. One of the people that I was listening to today, she was like, it's really silly to buy a $100,000 car and your salary is $100,000. So that means most of the money that you make is going to go to that car payment because you're not, more than likely not, paying that car in cash.
And I'm talking about the white one. Like, what's the lowest you would take for this?
The lowest I can do is probably $75K.
75. Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. For that, in that color, yeah, that's not bad at all. See, I'm not even really thinking about getting the Rolex today, but you say this 100% pure gold. Yeah, 100%. So how much you want for this?
The whole necklace is just a
Yeah,
charm.
like this whole thing with the, the gold and the white gold on there. I like that whole thing on there.
Something like this, I probably let go for about 1,500.
15. That ain't bad at all. 15. Yeah, I might be able to do that. 15. Yeah, I want to see how it look on me though. How much they say they wanted for this?
They're looking for 140 million.
140
cash.
It's not bad. I might be able to do that.
You want to make sure that you are spending your money wisely and that you have a good nest egg, you are saving, you are investing. And I also need to talk to myself because I need to put more money in my savings account. I'm not joking. Some say that your car note should be 10% of your income. So if you're making $100,000, your car should be $10,000 because you can easily pay that off, right? But a $10,000 car, where are you going to find that? It's going to have to be a used car, and it's going to have to be paid in cash.
I don't know who need to hear this, but buy that used car off Facebook Marketplace. Buy that used car off Facebook Marketplace, man. Me personally, I've done it 2 times. I bought a old Toyota Avalon. I think it was like 2003 year. Bought it for $1,800. Y'all, I had that car for 4 years. I did not have one issue with it. All I had to do was change the battery 1 time.
I had a Toyota Avalon. I had one before. I had a few cars. You know what I mean? Chevy Cobalt was my first one. Then I had a Chrysler 200. Mitsubishi, is it Outlander? It was an older one. Like 01, something like that. 2000. Yeah, I done had whips. You know what I mean? Back when a nigga could see.
No.
Back when I went blind. It ain't like I'm blind now, but it's just my vision is bad enough that I can't drive. I could drive in the perfect conditions. But
that's all I had to do. I had that car for 4 years, y'all. When I got done with it, I gave it away. Why did I give it away? Because I basically got it for free. Bought it for $1,800. Had it for 4 years with no mechanical issues. You can't beat that. Now, I drive a 2005 Honda Accord. Y'all, go to my other page. I made a video about this. I drove this car from Texas to Virginia. People said it's going to blow up. Let me show you. Hold on. It currently has 219,874 miles. Still no issues. I'm still running. Y'all, this was almost a year ago when I did that. I done had this car almost 2 years. I drove it from Texas to Virginia. I done drove it from Virginia to, no mechanical issues. I'm chilling. Y'all, these people are lying to y'all when they say these old cars will cause you issues to the point where you will spend more in maintenance than to get a new car. That is a lie. That is a lie, y'all. Especially if you...
Now, I will say this, shout out to you for having the 2 car brands that are known for being studs. Absolute. You got the 2 car brands that won't falter. You got the LeBron James and Steph Curry car brands. These things are going to play for 30 years minimum. So, yes, but just remember, nigga, these, an older car could, but you gotta get the right brand. You can't go buy no old Ford Edge or some shit like that. You definitely gonna be fucked up. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, it depends on the car, bruh. A Toyota or a Honda, bruh. Exactly, a Toyota or Honda will do it. I don't know about Lexus, but I know if you get a Ford, you're screwed, sir. That's what I know. You get a Mitsubishi, you are absolutely screwed. I took damn, I don't even know when this was. What month we in? We in December. This had to be I say it was snow. It had to be cold. It had to be like February, March or something like that. I took or beginning of the year. I want to say it's close to January. I took my lady the Mitsubishi Outlander. It's a newer one to go get an oil change, and I was asking the dude because I needed to get the whip that I had. I was like, man, I needed to get one, and he was telling me, yeah, man, just no. I was trying to sell my whip. Yeah, I was trying to sell the what did I have, the Outlander, and my second Mitsubishi, and he was like, yeah, I'll take it. So he took it. He gave me cash for it, and I paid him and gave him all that shit. But sold the car to him. But I was asking about this Mitsubishi Outlander because it looked slick, and he was like, nah, man, you don't want no Outlander. I was like, why? He said, you see that one right there, 2017. It's got like something like 22,000 miles on it. Engine just died. It's like 20,000 miles on a 2017 Outlander. Engine just died. We just diagnosed it, and it came back locked up. Then he showed me another one. He said that shit's got like 80. Engine died on it. It was like a 2013. I was like, damn. This should be shit. Outlanders out here just croaking. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? Yeah, he talking about, yeah, them Nissan Altimas. Yeah, I mean, that's decent too, but
Get a Honda, Toyota. You got to do your research now. Don't just go buy an old car on Facebook Marketplace and say, D'Angelo told me to do that. No, you need to do your due diligence.
yeah, period. You know what I mean? Don't just go out here buying no old ass Toyota or something like that. But you will be, the likelihood that you got a car that's going to drive forever. They have is it the Toyota Tundra? I seen a YouTube video of the guy who had a Toyota Tundra. He was still like, he was doing pickup, like hauling stuff. So he had a trailer on the end of it. And he showed his dash. That shit said like 500,000 miles on it. Still driving the Toyota Tundra. I was like, damn. So shout out to Toyota. Them cars be lasting, bruh.
I bought Toyota for a reason. I bought Honda for a reason because I know those are reliable. It's being proven time and time again. But yeah, man, do it, man. This ain't for the people who care about how the car look and what they drive. Now, I don't care, man. Give me a little slider, man. I'm good. I'm saving my money. I'm good with it.
But a lot of times,
facts. The money you can save elsewhere, it lets you know, like it gives you the time and money to put towards shit you actually really want to do in life.
once we see those shiny objects and we want them so bad, and we're like, you know what? I will finance it, even though it's going to cost me 5 years of interest, 5 years of my income, whatever. It's going to be high. But you're willing to go that route because it's shiny and it's new and it's calling me and I want to show off and keep up with the Joneses. No, you don't. Find yourself a nice used car. It's reliable. And I hear that a lot of these new cars are breaking down faster than the older cars. So find yourself something old.
When I bought my first luxury car with my dumb ass, I went and bought a BMW and I already had a Honda, paid off Honda, paid for Honda. But I let people pump my head up and believing I needed a better car. So what did I go do? I went and got a better car. I didn't want to pay for 2 parking spots. I didn't want to pay for insurance for 2 cars. And I felt like I didn't need a second car. So you know what I did? I sold that Honda. Stupid. I should have kept that car. That was a good car. That was a good car. I missed that car. That car gave me no problems. None. Zero. All I did was change the oil. So I went ahead, bought a BMW. A year and a half later, that thing stopped on me on the freeway at 4 o'clock in the morning. Almost got me robbed. The fuel, not the fuel pump, a pump, something combusted. And it went vroom, and it stopped. 4 o'clock in the morning. I was sitting on the freeway till 6 o'clock in the morning. A month later, the fuel pump bust. That's when the fuel pump bust. After I got it fixed the first time. magically the warranty was up. Magically there was some warranty that covered it and I'm blessed. That's why, because I did not have that money to fix it. They fixed it. The fuel pump bust, I took it back to the dealership. They magically had a warranty to fix that too. Like I said, I'm blessed. Didn't have the money.
Damn. I mean, she normally like warranties and shit like that. Warranties are like insurance company, bruh. Which, by the way, insurance is the biggest scam in the world. But we'll leave that for another time and place. So these warranty companies they gonna try to, oh, did you eat breakfast that day? Well, yeah, I get it, and that voids the warranty. So, luckily she got both of hers fixed with warranties, and shout out to her for getting that, rectified with warranties.
They fixed that. The next day, I said, I can't afford this car. I can't, because if it keeps breaking down, you know what bright idea I had? Let me trade it in for a car 2 times more expensive. But I leased it. So I'm like, okay, when the lease is up, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of it. But you're caught up in a cycle you can't get out of.
Yep.
Because you know what's going to happen after that 3 years was up? I'm getting an even more expensive car. I'm just wasting money. I was in that cycle for so long, I missed that damn Honda. I would give anything to get that Honda back and get the hell up out that cycle. It's a terrible cycle.
That's what the problem was.
I am not flexing and flossing and stunting for nobody else but myself. If I got it, I got it. And if I don't, I don't. We are not going to go into debt trying to one-up somebody else or be like somebody else. We're not doing it. So yeah, people are trying to live a luxury poverty lifestyle. They have that luxury poverty mindset. You really can't afford the thing, but you'll do anything to get it. You want those luxurious items. You want the nice things that are designer and so on and so forth, but you really can't afford it.
And ain't nothing wrong with not being able to afford it. But only thing you got to do is work hard for whatever you're trying to get. I'm not going to sit here and tell you work hard and do, follow your dreams. No. Do what you need to do for yourself. Try to push for whatever you want in life. Go after it. But realize that buying shit along the way, or even if you get what you want, let's just say you magically get that $250,000 a year job or whatever goofy ass thing you value in your life. If you value that, fine. Shout out to you for getting it. But just know you're going to constantly be chasing something. I say chase something that is going to be beneficial to you. Chasing bills and things you're going to have to pay a lot of money for, that's not beneficial to you. That's just, that's just something that's, going to fuck you over in the long term. But if everybody had the idea or the mentality that I'm only buying what I need to buy out of life, well, then life doesn't get so bad for you. It don't get so expensive for you. But it is what it is.
You have been in a trap in your mind thinking this is what I have to do in order to show other people that I am valuable, that I am this, high and mighty person, but you really aren't. And then you just end up being depressed and in debt. And then when you think about it, this economy right now, we always talk about the rising cost of groceries, the rising cost of everything, basically. And to worry about trying to look like you are playing the part of success, stop it.
If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
She threw the MJ in that shit for y'all niggas, bro.
No.
Let me see what time we got. Oh yeah, I got time for one more. It was one last video I really wanted to show, but I'm gonna try to see which one was it. It was the luxury joint, the shit we just watched. So we gonna remove that from the list. Now I'll figure out what I need to do. Where it go? No, not Market Gains. Where is that? Wasn't that story one the AI one? Life lessons from full coverage uses extended. No. Oh, here you go.
The gig economy has never exactly been flawless, but some recent trends are throwing off a delicate balancing act between workers and customers that might accidentally be exposing some much deeper underlying problems. On the surface, our unemployment rate looks really good right now. Sure, it has trended up slightly in the wake of a long string of mass layoffs, but by zooming out, we can see it is still hovering around all-time lows. Sounds great.
So this video is about the gig economy and why, like, so I was doing one of these videos about jobs, and there was a white guy who was saying that he applied to do DoorDash in his area and they denied him because they said there were too many drivers. So yeah, the gig economy, and the gig economy is also misleading because in a jobs report, because if you ask somebody if they have a job, you need to have some type of metric. That's why I always said, like, the RP space is not something I want to get stuck in, because although I believe in, like, the things that certain people saying and stuff like that, people aren't accurately judging, or people are just thinking like it's a one-sided problem. And there's the reason why I had so much pushback against like people who want to have this whole traditional value and the God-fearing thing. And it's like, no, there's other issues at play that you're just either ignoring or you're negligently choosing to ignore. Either way, you're not addressing those issues, and we can't find a solution because those issues just go uncovered. And this is another way. So, and this is another example of it. So in a jobs report, if somebody says, how do you make income? Do you have a legal place or a legal way to make income? If you say yes, then that technically means you have a job, whether you work as a lawyer, you work at McDonald's, you work as a garbage truck driver, or you work as a doctor, or you work as a professional athlete. You have a job. You have some way of making money. The same is said for gig workers. So if I do DoorDash all day, technically I have a job doing DoorDash. That's what I do for money. But if you don't have no metrics, if you're not saying, okay, a job is considered 40 hours plus a week or whatever a week, and you just allow somebody, let's say you say a job is anything you do over 20 hours a week. Well, if somebody does DoorDash 4 hours a day for a few days a week, that's not really a job, and that job is going to be underperforming. So when they make only $20,000 a year, technically they got a job. But people don't look at it that way. They just be like, he got a job because he's making money. You got to put some type of standards on stuff. And that's something that I found, like, in the RP space, they really don't put standards on shit. People think that they just going to badger the same talking point over and over again and think that that's really going to help anybody. Sure, it'll help somebody. Sure, you may go viral by saying something, calling somebody out their name or saying somebody don't deserve something. I don't really care for that. I always say you don't deserve shit in life because you were never guaranteed shit. We are all living in the dash. So there's your born date and the day you die on your headstone, and that dash in the middle. Everybody is in the dash. You know, I can't guarantee what you get out of the dash. I can't guarantee if you're going to get love, kids, a home, if you're going to get food consistently, if you're going to get shelter, if you're going to be liked, if you're going to be... I can't even guarantee that you won't be a victim of a crime. If you're a lady, I can't guarantee that you won't be, mishandled, abused. I can't guarantee none of these things while we're living in the dash. All I can say is do what's in your best interest and try to get up out of that dash. Not try to get out of the dash. Try to get the best out of the dash. You know what I mean? Do what's in your best interest out here. But yeah, we're going to have this little jobs report thing because it's crazy out there, y'all.
Well, it's no secret anymore that jobs data has had some reliability problems in recent years. And one of the biggest blind spots is people moving into the gig economy instead of becoming formally unemployed. For a lot of people who have lost their jobs, it's quicker and often easier to register as an Uber driver than it is to register as unemployed. And you only really need to look at the numbers to see this is happening. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, over the last 5 years, the total number of people classified as unemployed has fallen by about 3 million. Which sounds good, but over that same time frame, the number of active Uber drivers has increased by roughly 3 million people, according to company financials. Now, to play devil's advocate, even if these jobs aren't the best, having readily available and highly flexible work with low barriers to entry could actually be a good thing when the alternative is people going straight onto unemployment. And we will get to that. But the problem right now for the workers entering the gig economy is that there is a rapidly growing roster of drivers looking to chauffeur around a $50 burrito and a shrinking pool of customers that are still willing to pay for it.
See what I'm saying? We have these worldly issues that we think that there's a fix for. It is a fix for it, but the fix for it is if ever there's shit on the, like, I look at it like a table. We have all this chaos on the table. We got papers everywhere, food everywhere, drinks everywhere. Sure, we could take our time and try to nitpick and get all the papers together, fold them up nicely, and put them in the trash or put them where they go. That's taking so much time we don't have. That's taking money we don't have. That's taking stress for everybody. We don't have this time. Plus, that's picking and choosing who wins and loses. And you don't want to be in that position. I say, here's how we get rid of that table. You take your arm, one end of the table, and you wipe everything off that motherfucker. That's how we clean everything in the world. Now, can we do that as people? Yes. We can absolutely do that as people. Now, are we going to do that as people? No. Because certain people still want to keep up society, like keep up this view of, oh, I'm holier than thou, or oh, I'm better than most, or you know, look at me, I'm the nice person. Look at me, I'm doing something for the homeless. I'm giving back. I'm doing this. I'm doing, like, the quicker we can wipe everything off the table and just get back to a nothing on the table, the sooner we will all live better lives. We will live healthier lives. We will live more productive lives. And we will have the things that really mean stuff to us. And we could possibly get the things that we've walked away from, because those things will end up trying to, find their way to us. You know what I mean? But nobody wants to do that. Everybody just thinks, like, even we see it on a Pod the Balloon show, girl, like, I gotta have somebody who makes a certain amount of money. Ma'am, you can't even guarantee that you're gonna be here tomorrow. Or that you're gonna have your job tomorrow. Or that you're gonna have your car. Like, there's no guarantees out here. You can't just say, I have to have the absolute best of something. That's not how life works. But again, people, you know what I mean?
After a landmark deal, drivers can unionize and negotiate pay.
What are you making on this trip?
Like $10.
And they unilaterally drop prices, and they unilaterally decide that drivers are going to make even less of the fare than they were before.
I've been going full throttle. I put more hours and make less.
Tesla's first robo-taxis are officially on the...
And that's the reason why, again, I was just saying it. You can't even guarantee, a woman will say, I got to have a guy making a certain amount of money. Which is stupid as fuck to say, because you can't guarantee that that guy will even be with you, want to stay with you, this, that, and the fourth. No different than a guy doing Uber saying, I deserve to have a better, more pay. A Uber driver saying, I deserve to have more pay, more this, more that. You can't even guarantee that there ain't going to be robo taxis coming out. And they already got them in Vegas. It's called Zoox. Zoox. So a woman will say, I gotta have a man making $200K. Stupid. The same way an Uber driver or McDonald's worker saying, I need higher wages. You can't even guard against this. They about to have robo taxis out here. Like, come on, bruh. People just literally think that they're just gonna get what they want to get out of life, or get what they want to get out of life, or that life has to give them what they want because what you ate your Wheaties today, nigga? Like, That ain't how life works.
No.
You know what I mean? You can do everything in life correctly, the right way, and still lose. You know what I mean? Do everything right and still lose. I was living in Seattle, and I think there was a story a long time ago. I remember it because it was still like jarring to me. I was like, man, this dude just threw his life away. 21-year-old boy, white boy, 21, driving drunk on a road somewhere, fell asleep at the wheel, crashed into a car carrying 4 nuns. I think it was 4 nuns, 3 or 4 nuns, and like a kid or something like that. Some shit like that. It was carrying nuns. It was like 3 or 4 nuns in the car. They were in their get up and all that. They were driving either to or from the church. And he's driving drunk, trying to make it home. I think all 3 nurses died. And who lives out of the whole situation? His drunk ass. Because he can't feel nothing. Now he's just got to sit with the reality. He just took out 3 nuns. Because of his selfish decision. Albeit, you know, that decision was selfish. But again, I don't look down on him, you know what I mean?
I do not look down on niggers, kites, wops, or greasers. Here you are all equally worthless.
I don't look down on him. He just made a poor decision. No different than Diddy made a series of poor decisions. No different than anybody else made poor decisions. You know? And think of the nuns. The nuns were they were holy women trying to do something correct, living their best life, driving either to or from the church for whatever reason, and boom, life ends just like that. Just like that. And that's why, like I say it all the time, I gotta get out of this. I think bigger than the RP space. Because the RP space has nothing to address what I just spoke to y'all about. Nothing.
The road and is already partnering with Uber.
A lot of the data surrounding gig work and even just regular employment is disjointed, vague, and often downright counterintuitive. Even something as simple as what it means to be employed is probably going to be different for you than it is to the statisticians putting all of these numbers together. On top of that, when you think of gig work, you are probably thinking about people delivering food or driving people around in their fake taxis. But depending on which organization is collecting the data, it can also extend to renting out Airbnb properties or even people like little old me here running a YouTube channel. When a metric becomes a goal, it's no longer a useful measure, because the groups involved will try to influence it in a way that benefits them.
Yep, and this is when a metric becomes a goal, it's no longer useful. This is something that people talk about all the time when they say data and statistics like can't even be, if we have all these studies that we can't even reproduce to see if we say that it rains 2 days out of a week on average in this country, and that's what we say we proved it, and then 20 years later or however long yet later we find out that it only rains like 0.5 out of a month, out of a week, in this United States, because we can't even reproduce the same statistics because of who's taking the data. You know what I mean? So who's taking the data? I gave y'all an example before about if it was my birthday and somebody gives me a gift card for Starbucks, but I don't drink coffee, and I sell that $25 gift card to Scotty and say, let me get $15 cash. I gave you this $25 gift card. Boom. Scotty just made $10 extra on $15, and I just made $15 on $0 because I wasn't going to use the Starbucks gift card. We both win. To Scotty's viewpoint, he looks at it like he came out better, and he has a case for it. I know I did. I know I came out good too. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a cold world. Yeah, that situation with them nuns, cold world. That shit shook me up. I know I was in Seattle when it happened. I was living in Seattle, so it was. I think it was in Washington State. But yeah, man, That had to be from either 2013 to 2016, some shit like that. But yeah, man. But in that example, my viewpoint, I won. I turned $0 into $15. So it depends on who's looking at the situation, who's looking at it, like, will tell you what, like, how, like, what they're prioritizing, and like, it'll tell you like if they're trying to be accurate about the information or not. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Platform companies want to report that they have lots of people working for them to show how important they are to their stakeholders. The media wants big changes in job numbers one way or another to make for good headlines, and politicians want to ignore the industry altogether so that they can keep on pretending the job market is great. This just adds additional murkiness to an already very messy collection of numbers, which can make it really hard to see what is happening to a majority of the workers in these jobs, which is, let's be honest, mostly people who couldn't find a better job elsewhere. So to unravel this all, there are really three components that need to be understood: the fundamental platform economics that have facilitated the growth of the gig economy, what these services have covered up in the job market, and what happens when they can't cover it up anymore. Now that first point is really just about a balancing act. A platform like Uber Eats or DoorDash coordinates transactions between a service provider, the delivery driver, a goods provider, the restaurant, and a consumer, which is you poking at pictures of cheeseburgers on your phone at 11 p.m. If Uber Eats wants to make more money, it either needs to charge you more, pay their delivery drivers less, take a larger cut from the restaurant making the food, or just do more transactions in total. In the early days of these services, they were—
And this is why I like this guy's videos, because he's very visual with it. I reviewed, like, when I first started doing content and I try to like figure out what niche or whatever, I did one of his videos, but he's very good at like visually showing like how it's done. Like even that last example, like you either gotta charge me more, the customer, you gotta make more, you gotta take more from the actual employee, the driver, or you gotta get more money from the actual company that you're doing the service for, like McDonald's or whatever. The triple constraint in project management, I think they call this a triple constraint. Like in every project you're fighting between the budget, how much shit costs, you know, the resources, all that stuff, you know, you're fighting with time, like deadlines, you know, when do we got to get this stadium built? It's got to be 3 years. We got $4 billion to do so, you know, and that's all the labor, that's all the materials, that's all the fucking time change, the changes in law that say we got to use a different material over another material. So you got the budget, you got the time, and then you got the scope, which is what are we actually doing? Like are we building this like a house? So a house takes a project manager has to deal with, all right, the house is going to take 8 months to get built. It's going to be $600,000 is the sale price. You got to make this home with $500K. So you go to your contractors and they say, all right, this lot of land is going to need this done before we can do it. So you got to get all the paperwork done. He says this, okay, they build the home. Oh, we ran into a problem. We ran out of fucking these size bolts. We got to get another box. How much is that shit going to cost? $500. How long is that shit going to take? 3 days to come in from fucking Missouri or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you got to deal with all these things. So that's the time constraint, you know. But anyway, back to
were almost exclusively focused on that last point, expanding their user base. This meant that on any given transaction, they would actually pay more to the restaurant and delivery driver than they were taking off the customer just to attract as many of these three onto their platform as possible. Back around 6 years ago, when these businesses were still blitzscaling, customers would get subsidized food that was often cheaper than ordering in person, restaurants would get generous revenue splits, and drivers were paid well above minimum wage even after accounting for their hidden costs. Split get subsidized food that was often cheaper than ordering. These businesses were still blitzscaling, customers would get—
he called it blitzscaling.
Subsidized food that was often cheaper than ordering in person.
Customers get subsidized food that was cheaper than ordering in person.
Restaurants would get generous revenue splits, and drivers were paid well above minimum wage even after accounting for their hidden costs.
Okay, so I get what he's saying. So blitzscaling is basically like taking really low up front, taking like not really taking money off the top up front to get as many people onto the platform, and then you start slowly like getting your money out of it. You know what I mean? It's like doing something for free. It's kind of like how a girl do. Since we talk about love and relationships, it's kind of like how a girl do. In the beginning, when you meet the girl, this the time she eats your meat up left and right. Every day she just, eating your meat up. Because she's trying to get something out of you. You know what I mean? So she's trying to like overdo. She's trying to overdo it to get what she wants out of you. Then when she gets what she wants out of you, then that's when it falls off, because now she's already got you in this situation. I get it now. Blitzscaling. That's the term you use. I mean, I guess,
But these good times were all financed by burning venture capital dollars. Now to play devil's advocate again, this is actually not that unusual when building out a marketplace. Customers won't spend money on the app if there are no restaurants to buy from, restaurants won't register on a platform that has no customers, and drivers won't make any money if there is no food to be delivered. So to get things started, the market maker usually does need to sweeten the deal in every direction. Nowadays, their mission has changed from growing the number of transactions to growing how much they make from those transactions. But how much they can push on each participant really depends on how hard they are to replace.
And this, what is this shit called? It's like when private equity comes. So let's say there's a business and a company comes and saying, yeah, I can help you with your business. The company coming in to help doesn't give a fuck about the business. They're just trying to get all the premium resources from the business under their control. So they'll fuck over their logistics, how they do things in order to get control over like their money per se. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, but
all of these groups are still growing, but while total revenue from customers increased by around 35% in the last 2 years, the total number of active gig workers on the platform increased by around 80% over the same time period.
Whoa.
This would mean that workers on the platform increased by around 35%. All of these groups are still growing, but while total revenue from customers increased by around 35% in the last 2 years, the total
revenue from customers increased by 30%. Okay, so us using Uber or Uber Eats, whatever, increased by 30% over the last 2 years. So more people are using Uber Eats and Uber. As far as revenue is concerned, that's not profit. That's just how many people are ordering rides and shit. So 30% increase over the last 2 years from us people using it. But
number of active gig workers on the platform increased by around 80% over the same time period.
Okay, so 80% over the same time period means there's 80% more people doing. Damn. That's crazy. So there's no way they're going to be able to make money just because it's way too many people doing it. But again, people are hurting for jobs, man.
Period. This would mean that even if there were no changes in how this revenue was divided up, there is simply less money per driver even without considering inflation. But the real point here is that drivers have become the easiest group in this triangle to replace, so it's easier for Uber to cut costs from them without destabilizing their market. Now, I know that this is a lot of numbers to confirm what you probably already knew. Pay and conditions for the most common type of gig work is getting worse. But by understanding these numbers, you can see how this can very quickly become a dangerous feedback loop, especially if these customers can no longer justify spending twice as much on their food to have it hand-delivered across town. Now, maybe this could be written off as pure speculation.
Yeah, it's like he said, dangerous feedback loop. Because drivers aren't going to be making money. Oof. Yeah, it's crazy. They're going to need to get that money somehow. Well,
from people who have spent too long looking at company financials, except for the fact that, in a lot of markets, it's already happening, and the results have not been pretty. So it's time to learn how money works to find out what happens when there is no room left in the gig economy. This video is sponsored by Cape, the privacy-first mobile carrier rethinking what secure phone service should look like. Cape gives you premium nationwide coverage without tracking carrier-designed metadata for years. Cape doesn't ask when they're being pushed through legacy systems full of vulnerabilities. The feature that really stands out is no easy way for someone to hijack your number. It works more like protecting a digital asset wallet than dealing with a phone plan. Every plan also includes enhanced signaling protection to block surveillance attempts, encrypted voicemail, and the option to bundle Proton VPN.
Now, this is an ad that he's running, so I'm pretty sure Cape is paying him $1 a video to say all this shit, or $1 per 100 views to say all this shit, which is fine. I don't give a fuck. It ain't me. Shout out to him. But just that service, I'm skeptical about, because now I have a device and I'm already entrusting that the company is not doing nefarious things, but then you want me to pay for a separate service that is going to protect me against nefarious things that my service provider could do to me. But my issue is, and this has already been proven before with other companies and shit, when you follow the manufacturer or the makers of that the service that sent the help, you realize that money came straight from the big three, or that money came straight from the phone provider. A lot of people don't know that. Because how else? So how else can somebody explain that I buy a cell phone, and in a span of few months, now we have 1 to 5 to 100 different people like Cape that are protecting my information. In order for, even if that was true, you know the amount of millions of dollars they're going to need to do or have to in order to get this service off the ground. And who's got the millions of dollars to do that? Who do you think's got the millions of dollars to do that? Man, it's coming straight from the phone manufacturer, but I get it, it's an ad, run your ad.
Plus or Proton Unlimited for just $1, which rounds out a genuinely strong privacy setup. Cape is still in beta, but if you want to lock down your number and your privacy, visit cape.co/getcape and use code HowMoneyWorks33 for 33% off your first 6 months. Okay, so as the gig economy platforms are playing this little game, the perfect outcome for the company in the middle here, trying to maximize their own bottom line, would be a large group of people with a lot of disposable cash who are not very price sensitive, and an even bigger group of people over here without much negotiating power who just need whatever money they can get. And oh, would you look at that? It's a statistic you are probably all getting sick of hearing me repeat. The top 10% of households are now doing a record 50% of the spending, while the bottom 60% of households are doing a record low of just 20%. This growing divide is not great. But for a company like Uber, it's been a golden opportunity to squeeze more money for a worse service out of customers while simultaneously squeezing more service for less money out of its contractors. Also, let's be honest with ourselves. A lot of that gap is being bridged by pushing for tips harder as well. For the first 3 years of the company, they didn't even have a direct tipping option because the company itself called the practice tacky. Today, it's the expectation, and it's pushed very hard. First-hand reports from drivers and restaurants have backed up what the big picture numbers are suggesting. A lot of locations are doing record volumes of deliveries, but individual drivers are finding it increasingly hard to find consistent deliveries or rides, which means they can spend hours a day just waiting for an opportunity to work. When they do get jobs, it's clear that the platform is taking a larger share of the pie. Like this example of a $64 ride here in LA, paying out just $12.43 to the driver. Of course, this is just one example, but it is a pretty damning one. Another factor that has allowed these companies to squeeze harder from every direction is interest rates. For a while, competition was actually quite fierce in the delivery gig workspace as dozens of regional startups tried to take market share away from the primary.
Dozen regional startups, 99 Tax, Swiggy, Food Panda. Damn, this is it. This is many. These are all startups this is like all companies that do Lyft or Uber. Yango. I've never heard of none of these fucking. I feel like I heard of Rappi. Wow. Food Panda. These are all alternatives to Uber. Crazy. I've never heard not one of them.
Players. Today, most of them have either become the incumbents, been acquired by the incumbents, or they have gone out of business. The blitzscaling business model of burning billions of investor dollars until cementing market share only really worked in a low interest rate environment where it didn't cost much to just keep on piling in more cash. If a competitor wanted to enter the market today to offer a better service or pay gig workers more competitively, they would not only need to cover their operating costs while taking market share, they would also need to cover interest payments that would be 3 times higher than they were back when a lot of today's incumbents were doing the same thing. Now, where this could get really bad is what could happen if job losses continue. If even more people are forced into the gig economy, that would mean that even more people would end up competing for the same gigs, and that's without even considering that if people lose their regular jobs and end up delivering for Uber Eats, they won't have as much money to spend on Uber Eats. Now, this process alone is actually not that unusual to spend. People lose their regular jobs and end up delivering for Uber Eats, they won't have as much money to spend on Uber Eats. Now, this process alone is actually not that unusual. It's basically how every demand-side economic downturn ever happens. Businesses lay off people, so households spend less money, so revenue falls, so businesses lay people off. If anything, it could almost be argued that gig...
And that's another thing that they call stagflation. Businesses lay off people, households stop spending money, because we just seen this with Black Friday. All these companies, full, like the inventory is full at Black Friday. Like nobody really spent money on Black Friday. Nobody. So then the company is going to be like, damn, they're going to have to make considerable changes to their pricing, not realizing that the changes they've already made to their pricing are the reason why they got there. But there's nobody really to blame because there's nothing you can do, you know?
Work like this falls turn ever happens. Businesses lay off people, so households spend less money, so revenue falls, so businesses lay people off. If anything, it could almost be argued that gig work like this offers an additional layer of protection to people who lose their jobs, which is kind of what is happening right now. The problem is that if this becomes widespread enough, it can cover up the problem for a lot longer than it would otherwise take to realize something might be going wrong. And if things do go very wrong, the gig economy offers far less friction for this loop to spin. Typically, businesses need to fill out a lot of paperwork to lay people off. It makes them look bad to investors, and they will also need to rework internal processes to operate with fewer staff. Yeah, sure, they still do it, but it's not an instantaneous or painless process. This means we at least have time to see something going wrong before it's a full-blown crisis. For gig workers, all of this can happen instantaneously and automatically through the algorithms. If the apps are getting fewer orders, drivers get fewer jobs and less surge pricing. The automated nature of their employment throws a bottle of baby oil into the mix anytime the economy loses its footing. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and companies like it are now collectively some of the largest employers in America. And if Uber drivers were counted as actual employees, it would individually be the largest employer in the world, easily beating out the largest defense departments and more traditional employers like Walmart. This is also just counting the people working in the largest and most obvious sectors of the gig economy. We have covered the story before, but starting around 5 years ago, there was a massive increase in the number of new businesses being registered in America. Now, spoiler alert, this was not because people suddenly became more entrepreneurial. It was mostly because people had lost their regular employment and were registering a company to do gig work. Fiverr, Etsy, Amazon Flex, and the naughtier platforms also saw a massive uptick in people selling their services. Even the number of videos uploaded to YouTube expanded significantly at this time, according to research published in the Journal of Quantitative Description, as people were looking for new ways to make money. And yes, this was just counting long-form content, as short-form would have skewed the results. The challenges faced by individuals working at the mercy of the gig economy are now well understood and well documented. But what we may soon figure out is that even for the people who never individually have to experience those conditions, they could still become a big problem for all of us. In fact, it's kind of already happened. China's gig economy might represent a glimpse into our own future, and that future is bleak. As a result of various factors, like headwinds from the real estate and financial industries, as well as a glut in recent graduates, the youth unemployment rate in China got so bad that the government simply stopped posting that data. Yeah. 2 years ago, when they did this, we were actually in a position to judge them for it. But anyway, these young workers, with few other options, have flooded into the gig economy, completely oversupplying the system with drivers. Today, according to estimates from The Economist, compiled from available company financials, there are 200 million gig workers in China, representing as much as 40% of their total urban workforce.
Jesus Christ. 200 million gig economy workers? There's 200 million people in China doing this shit right here. Bruh.
No.
That's I don't even know what to say, bruh. There's 200 million people doing that in China? Damn. I don't even know why that's so shocking to me. It's just crazy to think.
Massive number is even scarier when you realize that just 15 years ago, these platforms didn't really exist at all. This has become a real problem in the last 3 years in particular, as already frugal Chinese households are cutting back on service spending due to faltering economic conditions. The end result is that gig workers have reported spending 10 hours a day waiting to earn as much money as what would have taken them just 3 hours in the past. Large groups of brightly colored riders waiting outside shopping malls have become a very visible sign of bigger issues impacting average people in an economy that, by the headline numbers, still looks like it's doing very well. Even workers who are active for 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, are still not earning enough to afford a dignified lifestyle in the country's major urban centers where most of this work is available. In some cases, competition for work has become so fierce that groups from opposing apps have gotten into altercations with one another on the street, and that is clearly not a sign of things going well. Now, we are still a little ways behind a
We got people fighting each other over this shit. Man.
Similar situation in most Western countries.
This is crazy.
But there are not major structural differences that mean we couldn't. The point is that this should be a scary story with a lot of things that sound very familiar, which is not great. But it gets worse. So far, all of this has been ignoring the big push to automate gig work as quickly as possible. Drivers replaced by robotaxis, delivery drivers replaced with little fridges on wheels, and Etsy creatives replaced with an avalanche of AI-generated slop.
This is crazy, bruh. That dude said there are 200 million people driving doing freelance work, like Uber or whatever the equivalent of Uber is in China. They got 200 million people doing that shit. On them little scooters delivering shit. 200 million. God. I don't know why that number is so, like, crazy to me. 200 million people doing that shit. Then he says, just to think, 15 years ago, this job didn't even exist. Uber wasn't even around 15 years ago. So how we got a whole bunch of people doing Uber to the point that they're not making money when just 15 years ago, it didn't even fucking exist. Man, when I say people have to do what's in their best interest, bruh, you would never fucking know. 15 years ago, Uber doesn't exist. And we got so many people doing Uber now. Can't nobody make money. But what if it never fucking existed and we just had to keep going with, like, life just got to this point with AI, but Uber never existed? What will those people do when they get laid off their jobs? Again, like I say, I predict universal basic income is going to come. It's already, there's no other way around it. We have to pay people to not work. You know what I mean? And when I say pay, I mean half the people who may or may not have a job are going to have to stay home and work. Not work from home, but just... That's crazy. That's crazy to think, but...
Unfortunately, as this technology progresses, there is really no way it ends well for the most vulnerable workers depending on these kinds of gigs to pay their bills. If the AI bubble collapses, then it's going to take a lot of the economy down with it. And the first thing that people are going to sacrifice are expensive Uber Eats orders. If the AI bubble doesn't collapse, it will most likely be because the technology gets to a point where it is completely able to replace workers in labor-heavy industries, like food delivery. No matter which way this all...
Yeah, but I mean, that's not going to be the only industry that's going to get absorbed. That's the issue with AI. AI is great in the sense that it can help me solve give me history that I don't need to go to school. AI is good for solving education. It's almost perfect for solving education. It's not good for childcare, but it solves the education issue. You know what I mean? Sure, outside of teaching your little boy or girl how to read, outside of that, I mean, AI can teach them math, you know, whatever goofy ass things to just pass the time. They're not learning anything in school any fucking way. So AI is good at teaching your, kids math or basic history, shit like that. But outside of that, we don't need all that education shit. Even college. Why the fuck are we going to college when we have AI? Why can't I just have a paid plan or put together a structured plan and I work through it with tests and shit like that? I don't have to go to college for this and spend $20,000 a year. But yeah, AI is going to... Bruh, you see what I'm saying? AI is crazy, bruh. AI is one of the most... You ever see something unique, something like perfect and scary at the same time? It's literally that. AI is like J.R. Smith, nigga.
No.
J.R. Smith will get in an NBA game and shoot 7 threes back to back. One night he gonna miss 5 out of 7 of them. The next night he gonna hit all 7. You just don't know which one you gonna get. That's exactly what AI is like. AI is just like that, bruh. Cause on one hand, it relieves issues that we have in this country with bullshit like education. Outside of like childcare, like, you guys send your 5-year-old to school while you do a job doing something. And outside of, your 5 to 10-year-old, once a kid gets past 10 and they can like thoroughly speak good enough, or maybe 11, they don't really need all that other stuff. They know how to work a phone. We don't need high school. We don't need middle school. I say up to age 12. Outside of 12, they should be using AI to learn whatever. First off, they're not going to need to learn bullshit anyway. Second of all, AI is probably going to be better at teaching them and giving them examples and actually working with them, and they can get their own personalized way. Versus a teacher who really ain't going to overly care or overly invest. She's all strung out because, her lack of pay and things like that. But in the same breath, AI is dangerous because it's just going to replace jobs that have millions of people doing them. And we see it with Uber. Now, Uber's got millions of people driving Uber, but now AI is going to come in and fucking make automated robots that pick people up and drop people off. That's great for innovation. But now what do the people who were driving Uber do? Or Uber, AI can do that, but AI can come in and also change up how manufacturing works. Or warehousing and stuff like that. So you don't need people driving forklifts no more when they can pick, pack, and do all this other stuff and ship out, You don't need forklift drivers bringing shit up, pulling shit down, putting pallets into a 18-wheeler, coming back out. You don't need a human doing that process no more. You know what I mean? I'm waiting on Terminator. You think it'll come? You think it'll happen? Yes and no. It's already proven. We had that little robot in Texas that was going around flipping people off and doing a little thing with his hand turn. We already had a mini version of him. Then he was walking. He can't fucking walk straight any damn way. He walking and stumbling and shit, falling over, laughing. Like, you know what I mean? Not right now. But will Terminator come? Sure. Maybe not in our lifetime. But I don't know. AI just was I'm trying to think. When we was in high school, so I'm thinking 20 years ago. Because you were around my age, right? So 20 years ago, we had what? We had the flip phone. or the Sidekick. We had touch screens, but they were just all big and goofy. You know what I mean? You still had to get girls' phone numbers. Like, we had email, we had Black Planet, you know what I mean, where you had to download the page, how you want the template from another website and put it on your page and make edits in the code. We had that shit going on. MySpace was the big thing, or you know what I mean? So now just 20 years later, from that, now we have Zooks, the fucking taxi that can pick people up and drop people off in Las Vegas. We have self-driving taxis. He said AI will end us. Or we are wasteful. I don't know. I mean, I can only guess. I don't think AI ends us all, but I think AI has the capacity to. But the only thing that I think AI falls short in is timing. You know, because by the time I Am Robot happens, I think I'm 37. By the time I Am Robot like really happens, and they telling people to stay in their house, or we gonna chop your arm off and shit like that. Like, by the time that happens, I think I'm 80 years old. I think I'm literally 75, 80 years old. You know, that's what I believe, but I have no way of knowing. You know what I mean?
Goes, it's probably not going to end well for people who are already not doing well. Now, I will actually be making an entire video next week about this dismal endgame, so make sure to subscribe for that. But shameless plug aside, the point is that these platforms know the best way to get the most out of this game is to remove this piece entirely and just hope it doesn't take this one out with it. It's a dangerous gambit that...
Computers used to be a whole room. Exactly, bruh. Computers used to have a big ass back. Y'all was in middle school, like I was in middle school. You remember the Macintosh computer, the Apple, the Macintosh, and it had the green cover on the back? I know, Bars, I know you know. It had that green, like, little cover plastic piece on the back. Scotty, you too, if that's you in here. You know what I mean? But, yeah, bruh. It's crazy just to think 20 years ago, we had big back ass TVs. Now, 20 years later, we got the self-driving cars. Matter of fact, let me show you the self-driving car I'm talking about. This is in Las Vegas right now. Zooks Taxi Vegas. You know what I mean? You remember that big back ass
You've never seen a ride like this. There's no steering wheel, pedals, driver's seat.
This is in Vegas right now. So if we went to Vegas, we could hop in one of these. You know what I mean? Laughing Man. What up, Laughing Man? What it do? You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Laughing Man.
You ugly motherfucker.
We gonna have a Pod the Balloon to do tomorrow, but I just wanted to talk about this because, you know, the world is changing, and like Laughing Man, I know you know, we were talking about how 20 years ago, just 20 years ago, or, you know, we had this T-Mobile Sidekick was the big thing, and, you know, the world was just different, you know, now. And even like back to when we were in middle school, just 10 years, 30 years ago, when we were all, well, 25 years ago, whatever. You know, when we were all, you know, in like middle school and shit like that, we're talking like, you talking about year 2000? Like, we had the things with the big backs on them, and the Macintosh computer with the screen, but it had the big green colorful back on it. You know what I mean? Yeah, the BlackBerry. Yeah, bruh. Yeah, the BlackBerry phone. Just think about that. I was just watching. I seen it today. I was watching a video and it showed how Steve Jobs was literally pointing at his screen. He said, "This is the world's most capable phone right now, and it's got all these rough buttons on it." And he was showing a BlackBerry, the Palm Pilot one, with the little antenna thing on the side. And he was like, "I want to have a phone that just has one screen." And then he showed what the first iteration of the iPhone, and everybody was like, "Oh!" And everybody started clapping. I was like, "Damn, man." Just to think, like that's over 20 some years. That's 20 years ago. Or maybe like 25. What happens in the next 25? We already got this shit on screen right
Driver. This is a robo-taxi from a company called Zoox, which is looking to reimagine the way that we get around. Along with developing self-driving tech, they've also designed what it calls purpose-built robo-taxis. I'm here in Vegas to get a behind-the-scenes look at how Zoox took this from concept sketches to reality, and of course to hitch a ride myself, so let's check it out. Self-driving cars have long been a sci-fi staple, but they're also becoming a very real-world transportation option in a growing number of cities. In the San Francisco Bay Area, I can hail a Waymo if I want to get to my destination sans driver. Waymo, which is owned by Google's parent company Alphabet, also operates in places like Phoenix and Los Angeles. But Zoox is taking things one step further with the anticipated public rollout of its robo-taxi. Zoox, which is owned by Amazon, not only wants to get you to your destination without a human driver, but it wants to do it in these futuristic-looking vehicles designed for up to 4 riders. No steering wheel or driver's seat here. 2 people can sit on each side. The robo-taxi is all-electric and has a symmetrical design. It can drive in both directions, so it'll never have to reverse out of a parking spot. You'll call your ride with an app like you would with Uber or Lyft. Zoox plans to open its driverless fleet to the public in the coming months, starting with Las Vegas, which is why I'm here to take a test ride.
Use the touchscreen
to
close the doors.
Let's close the doors. Starting ride. 3, 2, 1. Gearing up to go. We got 15-minute arrival time, and we're on the move. Okay, now we get to go into the wilds, aka the streets of Las Vegas. Yes, Zoox does plan to have its robo-taxis cruising the strip once they're available to the public. The demo route I took was a short distance from the strip, but I still got to see...
Total Recall. Again, Total Recall. That's another great movie. Yeah, bruh. Elysium. Bruh. There's so many movies about what this AI and all this will kind of end, like what it will end up with. Like when we get toward like some of the final bosses of AI. But again, when does that happen? I don't know. I think all of us in this chat, we're gone by the time that happens. You know, but I don't know. Because just 25 years ago, we had the BlackBerry and big back ass phones and TVs and shit. So 25 years from now, that's a shorter time, you know. I just don't know. You know. I just don't know what it looks like.
See how the vehicle handles multi-lane roads, construction, and traffic signals, and how I felt being in a vehicle with no driver's seat. It feels like there's somebody in the driver's seat who's making sure to look both ways and then push the gas pedal. There's no gas pedal and there's no driver. So it's a little weird. Pretty cool though. Building a reimagined self-driving vehicle also means the folks at Zoox had to ensure riders can easily do everything from adjusting the AC to contacting emergency services. Okay, so I have this control here where I can play with the temperature or play music or look at the map to see where we're going. I can also pull over if there's any issues. There's also an emergency button at the top, which I can push and then be in contact with customer service, which will then figure out what emergency I need to be connected with. There's also wireless charging and a USB-C port between the seats in case your phone's running out of juice. The fastest the Zoox...
Nigga, they got wireless USB ports in this motherfucker. Bruh.
No.
Bruh. Penny from his Get the Gadget had Apple stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bruh. You right about Inspector Gadget. I ain't seen that shit. I'm gonna show my daughters that movie tomorrow or that show. They gonna be like, "What? This was cartoons back in your day?" Cause I showed she was 11 and I played her the dial-up internet sound, and I just played it for. I said, "I want you to listen to something," And I played it for her, and she was like, "What the hell is that?" I was like, "This is the sound you heard when you wanted to get on the internet. You know how you got an iPhone and you had an iPhone for over a year and a half now?" She said, "Yeah, you know how you can just get on YouTube and get on Google and shit like that?" I was like, "Yeah, well, we had big computers." I showed her what the computers look like, the big back TVs, the big computers. And I said, when you wanted to get on the internet and go to Google, you had to plug the phone piece into the back. I don't even know what you call it, not Ethernet, the phone cord. You had to make sure that that was running into it may be Ethernet. You had to make sure that was running into the computer, and then you had to enable it basically, and you would hear this sound. And she was like, "You would hear that every time you wanted to get on the internet?" I said, "Yeah." And if, let's say, somebody called your phone while you was on the internet, it'll mess up your internet connection. And she was like, "What in the world?" And she couldn't believe this shit. And I was like, "Yeah, when I was your age and younger, that's what I saw." She was like, "There's no way this happened." I was like, "Yeah. Yeah, the dial-up. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what the hell it was called, the name. Yeah, like just dial-up. Yeah, I played the dial-up internet sound for her." She was like, "What?" I said, "Yep, every day you wanted to get on a computer. So when you were in school and y'all just flip open y'all Chromebooks and y'all just flip open the laptop and get to pressing buttons, that's what we dealt with." She was dumbfounded. She couldn't believe it.
Duke's Robotaxi went in Vegas was 45 miles per hour in accordance with the speed limits of the roads we drove on, but it can technically go up to 75 miles per hour, which is helpful for when these vehicles eventually hit the highways.
I think the thing about this is how, like, unremarkable it feels, and I don't mean that as an insult, but it just feels like we're just taking a ride. It's being very cautious of what's happening around it, and I can really just sit back. I haven't gotten car sick, which is really great. It's a big deal for me.
Duke says hailing a robotaxi over a standard rideshare or public transportation can offer greater privacy and relaxation.
When you simply put yourself in a room or a lounge and now is moving down the road like our robotaxi is designed, I think you start to realize very quickly what freedoms you do have. And one of those is, simply to be able to relax, to let go. Again, nothing's demanding your attention by design. If you want to just get in and sleep.
We didn't have laptops at all. Now, some people had, I've seen laptops when I was in like middle school and shit, but everybody had computers. We had the big back computers. We had the monitor, and then we had the big back computer with the brain. All of it was there. Yeah, I remember that. The big ass back computer. But again, you absolutely right. We didn't have that, but I was just telling my daughter about the shit. She was like, "What in the world?" I said, "Yeah." Then I showed her the Blockbuster. I said, "You know how you just go on Netflix?" She was like, "Yeah, you watch a movie or TV show and you got kid Netflix." I was like, so I showed her videos of Blockbuster. She was like, "This was the actual place?" I said, "Yeah. Me and my dad used to go there when I was your age or younger, and we used to get movies." You know what I mean? We used to go get movies, and you had to rent them out. You go get the empty case, go up to the front. They put the DVD in it, and then they tell you you got to bring it back in 3 days. And she was like, unbelievable. My 12-year-old, she got a real personality, so she was like, I just couldn't believe it.
Got you right for your entire ride.
But yeah, I did want to show that. That's all I wanted to show you, was that's what the Zoox is. So who knows what the next 25 years of us being, in this AI age mean, but yeah, the iPad, yeah. The iPad is next level, yeah, But hey, I appreciate y'all boys, coming by and, stopping by. I know it's not my traditional content, but, I definitely want to at least once a week get in, kind of spread my wings and talk about shit that I kind of am more interested in talking about and things like that. So, yeah, man. Love and appreciate y'all. Shout out to my boy Bars.
You ugly motherfucker.
Shout out to Scotty, he came through.
You ugly motherfucker.
Shout out to Laughing Man, he came through.
You ugly motherfucker.
You know what I mean? Shout out to y'all boys, man. Got real love and appreciation for y'all boys. But anyway, that being said, I'm getting ready to hop off. I'm gonna get some rest. I gotta go out tomorrow and talk to some people and shit. But yeah, man, it be like that, bruh. This internet shit that we thought we just think it's all fun and games and it's gonna work how it need to work. Who knows what the next 10, 15 years look like? Said iPad and hotspot. Yeah, you know what I mean? Exactly. You ain't picking up Wi-Fi, go somewhere where you can pick up Wi-Fi. McDonald's always had free Wi-Fi. Who else had free Wi-Fi? Certain hotels had free Wi-Fi. But you know, you just yeah, man. Who knows what the next 15, 20 years of AI looks like, but it's definitely gonna be crazy to think about. And I ain't gonna say, yeah, we'll all see when it get here, because I mean, hell, you know, some of us may not be here. I may not be here. God willing, I'm here. I pray, I hope I'm here. But yeah, man. Anyway, I'm finna get up out of here. Love and appreciate y'all boys. I'll catch y'all boys back in the next one, man. Peace. Make sure y'all like the video too on your way out, man.
You ugly motherfucker.